Hi, you're watching Current Issues. My name is Vineet Malhotra. The phrase Delhi is polluted unfortunately seems to have become a new normal. But do we even pause and realize the implications of this contaminated air that we breathe on a daily basis? An asthmatic woman has died in Noida due to this pollution caused by firecrackers. In the contemporary world, the description on air pollution always used to start with saying that it is intangible, particulate matter, for example. So its dangers are not so evident. Now, Delhi has proudly contradicted that theory. Smog, which is of course smoke plus fog that envelops Delhi, especially after Diwali, is dangerously and insidiously breaching our health and our children's future as well. We will talk about the pollution in Delhi, but before that, let's look at this report.
The debate around air pollution has gotten fiercer with detailed studies and investigative reports that have analyzed the causes behind high pollution levels in Delhi. Air pollution will lead to a premature death every 5 seconds by 2060. Take a deep breath and now listen. IITM reveals that life expectancy drops by 6.4 years in Delhi, all because of its polluted air. And by 2060, it could cause 6 to 9 million premature deaths a year and cost 1% of the global GDP. Another report from OECD tells that in 2010, there were 508 deaths caused by outdoor air pollution per million people in India. In 2060, this very figure is likely to range from 945 to 2039 per million. Apart from creating health issues, outdoor air pollution has an economic impact as well. As the quality of the air becomes worse and worse, there will be reduced labor productivity, more hospital admissions, sick activity days, increased health expenditure, crop yield losses. It isn't as though the governments are not aware of the problem posed by air pollution. In Delhi, the odd-even experiment was launched in an effort to reduce traffic congestion and to improve air quality. But it wasn't able to reduce emissions much, and neither has it been implemented completely. Now, the Minister of State for Environment has taken this issue seriously.
उसके बाद में मैं सारे मंत्रियों के साथ बैठ करके बात करूंगा और फिर हम एक रोड मैप सबके सामने रखेंगे और हम अपेक्षा करेंगे कि उसमें जितना केंद्र को चलना है वो केंद्र चले, जितना राज्यों को चलना है वो राज्य चले.
But what is being done to address this, besides holding countless think tanks conferences and showing concerns? Is there going to be some sort of visible action on the ground, both by the central and Delhi governments? Only time will tell. Team News World India.
Well, the levels of pollution in Delhi are alarming. They're disturbing and they're horrifying. According to the World Health Organization, let's take you through some graphics and explain why this pollution problem is so very dangerous for us, and it already is causing a lot of impact. The particulate pollution causes about 109,000 premature deaths amongst adults each year. 7,500 deaths among children under 5 annually. 48,000 new cases of chronic bronchitis are reported and diagnosed every year. 370,000 annual hospitalizations because of this severe pollution, and 7.3 million emergency room visits, outpatient hospitalizations per year. And this is an alarming number. If something is not done about it, we surely are looking at an epidemic of a grave proportion. And on this note, let me welcome our guest in the studio and those of them who will be joining me from around the NCR. Sharad Kohli, a social activist, is with us in the studio. Sharad, thank you for talking to us. Ashish Sood of the BJP is with us as well. Mr. Rajkumar Shastri, who's a spiritual guru, is also joining us and is with me in the studio. Nitin Tyagi from the Aam Aadmi Party is also with me, and Vimlendu Jha, environmentalist. Sharad, let us begin with you. Now, post Diwali, we have seen that the day right after Diwali, it is usually very, very smoggy. It is full of pollution and it's very difficult to breathe for people and for citizens of the NCR. But this time around, this smog has lingered on for more than 2 days.
Well, Vineet, the big difference this time has been on the bad side. that we've been talking about feeling pollution, we've been talking about reading pollution. This time, for the first time, we have been able to touch pollution.
Right.
It has come so close and it has become so intense that we have been able to go and touch pollution. I stepped out on the following morning after Diwali with a white shirt, and would you believe, in half an hour I walked for a distance of half a kilometer on purpose, and the shoulders of my white shirt turned totally black. So that was the level of, so with the same thing going through our noses and mouth, you can imagine what damage this is causing. We are literally living in a gas chamber. We are living in an exhaust pipe, call it whatever, but the situation is alarming. I remember example of a sci-fi movie, Vineet, if you pardon me for that, where they showed that there was some magical effect on the environment and everybody walking on the road just fell down and they were all flat out on the road. This is coming down to a situation like this. Why is someone not noticing this? Why are desperate measures not being taken? Is the big question.
Why are desperate measures not being taken? Mr. Nitin Tyagi, Diwali happens every year. There are warnings which are circulated every year. There are pledges which are actually distributed as to not to burn firecrackers. Why has the Delhi government failed to control pollution after taking Delhi under its reins?
Yeah, see, we all know scientifically that pollution peaks in winters, and ideal situation would be if we can have a no cracker kind of a Diwali, but it does not happen. It does not seem to happen also, and even in future I don't see that happening very soon. But I think Supreme Court should come up with a ruling that the crackers at least should be banned. Then there is this, see, Delhi is a very small state and we are surrounded by other states which are extremely farming oriented. And if we see all these Google images, we actually find that this smoke from crop burning in Haryana and Punjab, it's happening at a very rapid scale and at a big scale. And a lot of smoke is traveling from Haryana and Punjab into Delhi. And another thing, there's this entry point. In Delhi, we are using clean fuel. We are having CNG autos, we are having CNG buses and all. But at the outskirts of Delhi, or the entry points of Delhi, you see a lot of autos and
Mr. Tyagi, your government initiated the odd and even formula. What happened to that? Why, the last time we saw the odd and even formula, that was around April. Why hasn't the Aam Aadmi Party thought of making that a permanent fixture?
See, it will become a permanent fixture, but the problem with the odd even right now is we do not actually, the light is too sharp. With the odd and even formula we do not have ample amount of public transport with us. We need to augment that first, and then it can be a permanent feature. Till the time we do not have a proper public transport in place, odd and even does create a lot of problem for a lot of people. Although it smoothens out the roads and all, but there are a lot of people who face a lot of problems.
Mr. Tyagi, I'll come back to you. Vimlendu, 10 to 30,000 people die annually. Mr. Tyagi, let me come back to you. Vimlendu, 10 to 30,000 people die because of pollution in the city of Delhi. Now, that is a very alarming number for a country who actually boasts of achieving a double-digit GDP growth. Pollution is a problem that is probably under control in most developed countries and some of the developing countries as well. You know, these numbers are startling. What do you think the government needs to do? What do the citizens of Delhi do? What do they need to do in order to curb this problem? Because if you talk about children and if you talk about the elderly, this is probably a death sentence for them.
Absolutely. So as in, everyone is responsible for this because we've all manufactured this situation, be it the government, central government, the local government and the citizenry. Now, but I'm at the same time, I'm a little, when Aam Aadmi Party representative right now was talking about how there are other reasons why Delhi is where it is today. If you look at the circulars that they're actually passed in December last year, none of those things have actually been achieved. So central government talks about Swachh Bharat. The local government talked about closing down Badarpur power plant. That plant is still active. They talked about PWD roads to be greener, the pavements to be fixed, vacuum cleaners to be fixed, and nothing. As in they made same announcements. If you actually change the date of that circular that was released in 2015, if you just make it 2016, the same 10 promises have been made now, and that too when Delhi's AQI is almost, on an average 500. So the government has to really understand that they are there to govern, and they're really supposed to preempt situations. I don't know why the government has to really bring in a high committee meeting, high powered meeting on the 1st of November. Don't you know that for almost 15 days Delhi's air has been deteriorating. So I feel that the government, there's a lacuna in governance. Citizens, of course, till the time that they don't fall down, they don't realize how urgent the situation is. We've been hearing about say no to firecrackers, but it hasn't shown the desired result.
Okay, let me also get an opening
declaration of a
statement.
public emergency,
Let me come back to you. Let me get an opening
steps.
statement from Mr. Ashish Sood. Mr. Sood, you've been listening into what the problem with Delhi is. The pollution levels are lethal. It's become a killer. It's probably one of the top five reasons why Indian lives are being lost. So what do you think should be done about this problem? Firecrackers, for one, is to be blamed, but I'm not sure whether that is, the predominant reason why the air pollution in Delhi is at an alarming level.
This is a simple answer to a complex situation, that firecrackers are doing it, or the paddy, the remains of the burning of the remains of the crops in the adjoining NCR area. Look, the Delhi government is not at all serious. It is working like an event management company. The two phases of odd and even, they have not yielded. The stakeholders were not taken into confidence. I'll tell you one thing, shutting down Badarpur thermal plant for a year will, and all the vehicles plying in the city for 18 years, and emitting the gases for 18 years, they are equal. There is a gas-based power plant in Bhavana which is ready. They can very easily purchase the gas from the central government, but they will not do it because they want to say, हम तो काम करने आए थे, हमें काम नहीं करने दे रहे. Shut down Badarpur for 1 year. Start the already constructed Bhavana plant which was done by Congress. 50% of the pollution problem is solved in Delhi. But they will not do it. What steps this government has taken after the odd even? No steps have been taken. Have they approached the central government to bring in more CNG stations so that more and more vehicles on the CNG can be run in the Delhi, in the city? No steps have been taken.
राजकुमार शास्त्री जी, जब प्रदूषण की मात्रा इतनी बढ़ चुकी है कि लोगों की जाने जा रही हैं, तो फिर भी क्या पटाखे जलाना एक तरह से एक ऐसा काम होना चाहिए जो सोच समझ के करना चाहिए और लिमिट में करना चाहिए आपके अनुसार?
नहीं, मैं आपसे कई बातें मैं पूछ रखता हूँ कि काफी समय से मैं आपकी ये चर्चा देख रहा हूँ, सुन रहा हूँ. आप ये बताइए कि दीपावली का पटाखा साल में एक ही बार चलता है, 5 दिन 10 दिन चलते हैं, तो उसी टाइम में सब लोग, सारी दुनिया के लोग बीमार होते हैं. क्या पूरे साल आप हॉस्पिटल में जाइए, कहीं आपको जगह नहीं मिलेगी. उसका कारण क्या है? क्या उन दिनों में पोल्यूशन है? और अगर उन दिनों में भी पोल्यूशन है तो दीपावली के पटाखे कब चल रहे हैं? कारण ये है कि आप ये देखिए कि पोल्यूशन का कारण क्या है. बहुत सारी गाड़ियां, बहुत सारी फैक्ट्रीज और बहुत सारा प्रदूषित अन्न, ये भी प्रदूषण का कारण है, बीमारियों का कारण है. और सबसे बड़ी बात है कुछ पूर्व जन्म के कर्म, क्योंकि 6 चीजें परमात्मा के हाथ में है. उसी प्रदूषण में आप भी रहते हैं, उसी प्रदूषण में मैं रहता हूं, उसी प्रदूषण में मेरा भाई रहता है. मेरा भाई बीमार हो गया, आप भी स्वस्थ हैं और मैं भी स्वस्थ हूं. तो अगर प्रदूषण कारण है तो फिर सभी को बीमार होना चाहिए, सभी को हॉस्पिटलाइज होना चाहिए. पूर्व जन्म के कर्म, चूंकि हम लोग पूर्व जन्म के कर्म मेथोलॉजी को मानते हैं, पूर्व जन्म के कर्म के अनुसार व्यक्ति सुख और दुखों को भोगता है. पूर्व जन्म कर्मानुसारेण कश्चित व्याधि प्रजायते. कुछ बीमारियां पूर्व जन्म के कर्म पंडित जी को होती हैं.
क्या पटाखे?
आप ये बताइए, पूरे दुनिया में ऐसा कौन सा शहर है जहां पर प्रदूषण नहीं है? और ऐसा कौन सा शहर जहां प्रदूषण नहीं है? तो जहां प्रदूषण नहीं है, क्या वहां लोग बीमार नहीं होते? इसका मतलब कहीं ये तो नहीं है सरकार की कहीं इच्छा या अन्य लोगों का कहीं मीडिया का ऐसा कुछ हो कि हिंदू त्योहारों को बंद कर दिया जाए, होली बंद कर दो, जब होली आती है कहते हैं पानी खराब हो रहा है, दिवाली आती है कहते हैं प्रदूषण हो रहा है। बताइए क्या
ओके
पंडित जी पटाखे
शरद यू वांटेड टू कम इन एंड
बहुत सारी और खबरें, उनको क्यों नहीं चलाया जाए? कितनी पशुओं की हत्या की जाती है दूसरे मुस्लिम त्योहारों में, वो खबर चलती नहीं। मैं मीडिया में व्हाट्सएप करता रहा, 50 बार मैंने व्हाट्सएप किया, ये खबर चलाइए, पानी पूरा खून
अच्छा
से
पंडित
लाल हो गया।
पंडित जी शरद
आपने
शरद कोहली आपकी बात का जवाब देना चाहते हैं, इंग्लिश प्लीज, आपकी बात का जवाब देना चाहते हैं। आफ्टर शरद वील गो टू विमलेंदु।
पटाखे पंडित जी एक बहुत बड़ा कारण है, दिवाली के बाद जो पोल्यूशन इतना बढ़ गया है, पटाखे उसका बहुत बड़ा कारण है, और हमें कोई जरूरत नहीं है पटाखे छुड़ाने की। कहीं भी हमारे शास्त्रों में ये नहीं लिखा है कि पटाखे छुड़ाने चाहिए।
मैं आपको स्पष्ट कर दूं,
पंडित जी मैं
पटाखा चलाना इसलिए बहुत जरूरी है, जिस दिन से पटाखे चले उस दिन से चिकनगुनिया, डेंगू, मलेरिया की सारे मच्छर मर गए, और कितने लोग इन बीमारियों से मर रहे थे, चिकनगुनिया से, डेंगू से, मलेरिया से, वो सारी बीमारियां खत्म हो गई।
पंडित जी मैं
जितने ज्यादा पटाखे चलेंगे उतनी बीमारियां कम होंगी। शास्त्री तो अपनी जगह हूं।
मैं रामायण की वो चौपाई पढ़ता हूं जब भगवान राम
ओके शरद विमलेंदु अकॉर्डिंग टू पंडित जी मलेरिया, chikungunya and dengue have been eliminated because of burning crackers on Diwali. How does that hold any salt with you?
That's nothing at all. That way, Pandit ji, as I told someone the other day, पंडित जी को लाइजॉल या फिर कुछ और स्पिरिट पी के सोना चाहिए ताकि पेट साफ हो जाएगा। बट एज इट्स अ बिजार आर्गुमेंट दैट यू एक्चुअली यूज फायर क्रैकर्स टू क्योर,
आप बात राजनीति की करेंगे, मैं जो
मतलब आप ये क्या कागज की बात कर रहे हैं और बाकी देशों
कागज की लिखी, मैं कहता आंखों की देखी। मैं समाज में रहता हूं, आप समाज के जाकर के व्यूज लीजिए। अगर डेंगू और मलेरिया, डेंगू मलेरिया चिकनगुनिया 70% दिवाली के बाद खत्म हो गया, और केवल इसी प्रदूषण से, इसी पटाखों की आवाज से मच्छर मर जाते हैं।
Mr. Sood, according to पंडित जी
हमारे जितने
पंडित जी एक सेकंड, पंडित जी एक सेकंड, पंडित जी दूसरों को आपकी बात का जवाब देने देते हैं। राजकुमार शास्त्री जी, राजकुमार शास्त्री जी saying it's because of the misdeeds of our past lives that we have to face, higher levels of PM 2.5 and PM 10.
Look, this could be his point of view, but there are many practices in the society which are destroying the ecological balance.
Right.
What I am trying to understand from what Panditji was saying, that why only talk about only one thing? There are n number of practices adopted by people across religions. All must be stopped. I think this was the motive behind this, number one.
सरकार उनको बचा नहीं सकी, मेडिकल साइंस बचा नहीं सकी, डॉक्टरों के जाकर हॉस्पिटल में लोगों की डेथ होती रही। वो सारा डेंगू, मलेरिया, चिकनगुनिया पटाखों के कारण, पटाखों के कारण बंद हो गया। आज 70% चिकनगुनिया, 70% डेंगू दिल्ली में खत्म हो गया।
Okay, let me go back to Vimlendu. Vimlendu, what can the government do about this? Where has the government failed? Vimlendu, where has the government failed? Vimlendu, I want to know from you, where has the government failed? What were the measures that they were supposed to take? They've been in power for 2 years. Where have they failed? And please call a spade a spade.
Absolutely. So both the governments, central government as well as Delhi government, the first and the easiest thing that the government should have actually done is announced or circulated a public health advisory in terms of really, because we were talking about severe conditions, there was no health advisory that was given. When we're talking about an air quality index of a kind and we know the sources of pollution, be it dust, be it the trucks that we're talking about, the government should have actually shut down, and it can still do, shut down the schools right now. Don't allow diesel trucks to enter the city for at least 7 days. Shut down temporarily Badarpur power plant. Look at other sources. So, for Mr. Dave to say that for NGT to come and reprimand the government, while both central government and the local government just waiting for some miracle and some wind speed to take place is ridiculous. Also to really say that,
Okay, Mr. Tyagi, Pandit ji, एक second, Pandit ji,
उससे भी प्रदूषण होता है,
शास्त्री जी,
जो हवन होता है उससे भी प्रदूषण होता है।
एक सेकंड
अब
पंडित जी,
जबकि ये सारी हमारी चीजें बड़ी साइंटिफिक
शास्त्र की
हैं
चर्चा
और विज्ञान
नहीं
के साथ
है।
जुड़ी हुई है।
जी,
इनको ये नहीं मालूम कि
क्वेश्चन
अगले
फॉर मिस्टर
संविधान
नितिन
के
त्यागी।
बाद जो अस्तित्व
पंडित जी
में
आपके पास हम
जाती
वापस
है,
आएंगे, आपके पास हम वापस आएंगे। क्वेश्चन फॉर
Expert
नितिन त्यागी,
Vimalendra wants to
why
say-
wasn't there a health advisory which was posted by the Delhi government when you knew that there were going to be risks involved because of crackers, because of the existing pollution? Why was not there an advisory, a simple thing like an
The
advisory
Delhi government
circulated?
has been requesting everybody. Yes, absolutely. Delhi government has been requesting everybody, and we have made announcements to be very judicious about the use of firecrackers. As far as what Vimalendu just said about shutting down schools schools will not reduce pollution. But let me tell you one thing: that pollution always peaks at night. And shutting down schools is a myth, as far as I am concerned. And I would request one
Mr.
more
Tyagi,
thing.
you were
I would
supposed to,
request Mr. Ashish
with the deputy
Sood.
CM,
I
the
would
deputy
request
CM of
Mr.
Delhi,
Ashish Sood.
Mr. Tyagi, the deputy CM of the
I have
party.
photographs of
उत्सव
a
बंद
few.
कराने से क्या
I
मिल जाएगा
have
आपको?
photographs of a few
अरे
garbage
साल में
dumps.
त्योहार तो एक होता है।
Vineet,
आप उनको
Okay,
बंद कराने
okay.
की बात करते हैं।
Mr. Tyagi,
I
you were
have
also, Mr.
photographs
Tyagi,
of
hear me
a
out.
few
Mr. Tyagi,
garbage
hear me
dumps.
out. You
If
were
you're
also
ready to-
supposed
this
to
is
have
on
an
your
emergency
channel.
meeting.
If you're ready to
The
show them
deputy
on your
CM of
channel,
Delhi was
I
supposed
have
to have an
photographs
emergency
of a few
meeting
garbage
yesterday,
dumps
which
which are
was
meticulously
cancelled
put on fire
because of the
every day.
one rank, one pension
I have
issue.
photographs of garbage dumps which are put on fire meticulously every day. I request our representative from BJP to take notice and take cognizance of that,
Tyagi,
and I will name those
Mr.
garbage
Tyagi.
dumps over here. They are put on fire every
Tyagi,
day. So
what about
try
the
and
gas-based
reduce
power generation?
burning of
You are
garbage
the-
in the
the
city
government
itself.
of the city.
We have to do
Stop
that.
them.
This one
But
is
you
from
stop
Kailash
them.
Nagar.
You stop them.
Just show it.
You-
This
Mr.
one is
Tyagi,
from Kailash
Mr.
Nagar.
Tyagi.
You implement the laws. What are you talking about, Mr.
Then
Tyagi?
this
Okay.
one is Shastri Park.
What are you
Listen,
talking?
listen.
You were all
And
sleeping. Only
again,
100
we
buses
have-
added
we
to
have
the
Okay,
Harry
Mr.
Usman
Sood,
Usman,
let Mr. Tyagi finish his point. I'll come back to you, sir. Mr. Sood, let Mr. Tyagi finish his point. I'll come back to you, sir. Mr. Sood, I'll come back to you, sir. You will have an opportunity to respond.
Delhi government and central government.
Mr. Sood, let Mr. Tyagi finish. We will come back to you. Okay, all right. Probably you gentlemen cannot hear me, but you know, there are countries in the world. There is Paris, there's Mexico, there's England and Wales, there's Beijing and Shanghai, Sharad, which have taken emergent actions when pollution levels have gone high. And when I talk about high, not even as high as the the levels that we see in Delhi, but even when they have crossed 300 to 400, we're probably sitting at 600 to 700 right now. They have taken emergent measures. In Paris, they would stop traffic. They would tell people not to take out their cars and only use public transport. Why can't we initiate something like this here?
Well, nothing is more precious than life. As you rightly said, any amount of desperate measures required should be taken. I agree, health advisory was not given in this case. In China, when this kind of a situation arises, all schools are ordered to shut down. Schools cannot be, children are most prone to the risk. Children, if they inhale this kind of air, it'll cause permanent ailment inside them. So, you know, the closure of schools, there should be no compromise on the life of the citizens. I cannot, no justification
I have a question for Mr. Tyagi.
Burning crackers can be acceptable.
I have a question for Mr. Tyagi. Mr. Tyagi, how high up is the pollution problem of Delhi on the AAP party's agenda? How high up? Is it in your top 5 list?
I think today, right now, I think it should be in top 2 list right now.
Then why
It
was
is,
the meeting,
one
why
of
was the
top
emergency
priorities
meeting,
right
sir,
now, the
by the
pollution
Deputy
is
CM
immediate.
cancelled yesterday? Isn't this a problem that needs to be addressed urgently?
It was cancelled because Deputy CM was arrested. He was detained by the Delhi police. This is why it was cancelled.
Okay, well, if of course he was detained because he decided to go to a particular place and he decided.
Yeah, and we actually said that he should not be detained because of this.
हैं कि प्रदूषण ना हो तो उसके लिए आपको प्रकृति की रक्षा करनी पड़ेगी, पेड़ पौधे ज्यादा लगाने पड़ेंगे। आपने सारे दुनिया के पेड़ काट दिए, सारी हरियाली खत्म कर दी। जब तक आप उसको फिर से उसी लेवल पर नहीं लाएंगे, आप प्रदूषण को कंट्रोल कर ही नहीं सकते हैं। जितने मर्जी इसके
please
उपाय
give
कर
me some
लीजिए,
time. This is
क्योंकि
unfair
आपने
to me.
नेचर का नुकसान किया है।
I totally agree with you, Swami.
Okay, okay.
Shastri ji, I totally
we
agree
have
with
to
you.
close the show.
पेड़
Mr.
हमें
Sood,
लगाने
Mr.
चाहिए,
Sood,
we should plant more
you have
trees,
about 10
but till
seconds
the
to
time
put in
we
your
plant
point,
more
Mr.
trees, we should look into.
Okay, Mr. Tyagi, Mr. Sood has not had an opportunity to say anything. Mr. Sood,
The
we have run out of time,
controlling
sir.
pollution is not on the agenda of Aam Aadmi Party. Today's meeting was to be held, should have been held. It was cancelled to nurture the political ambitions of Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab and Goa. This is the this
Sorry,
is
Mr.
this, is-
Sood,
this
I
was the
think-
chief
I
minister
think
who
you-
did not visit
you are excellent in
Dr.
lying,
Naran's residence,
you
who
are
did not
excellent in
visit
lying
Soni
and
Sharma, who
politicizing
committed
issues,
suicide.
while I am
It
talking
was
about
only
working together,
it
while
was
I am
Okay.
talking about
suiting to
working
their
together,
political ambitions.
NCD,
Okay,
Delhi,
Mr.
Delhi
Sood
government
and
has
they
Mr.
have
Tyagi,
completely
we'll
together.
pick up
They are
this
trying to
fight on another day. At this
divide.
point in time, I'll have to end the show. Sharad Kohli, Ashish Sood, Mr. Tyagi, Vimlendu Jha and Rajkumar Shastri ji, thank you so much for joining us on Current Issues. We'll see you tomorrow right here on News World India. Thank you.